There we go. It's the Bulls Podcast, episode 61. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. P will versus P won't versus P might. We've got a new segment called Wise Guys, and we've got a Bulls preview versus the Charlotte Hornets. It's all right here on the Bulls Podcast.
Hey, Chicago Bulls fans, it's time for your Bulls Podcast. Here are your hosts, Marcus Couch and Wise Black.
All right. How you doing, Wise? How's your Bulls fandom been this week, up and down?
I mean, I have no complaints, really. The team has fared pretty decently, so it should be a fairly friendly show today.
Yeah. So we wanted to get a quick one in just this week. We've got a lot of great response from the P-Kid episode, Bulls Podcast number 60, and it's great to make a new friend of the show, and I'm sure P-Kid and a lot of the other crew are going to be back on the show, before you know it. So we got a lot to talk about. Patrick Williams, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some new picks as far as a new segment that Wise has got going on for some basically hustle awards. Who's the stat leader in terms of heart, hustle, and muscle? We're going to review some of our game predictions and talk about some other games coming up this week. And with that, well, Wise, let's get started by talking about P. Will. We watched the Brooklyn Nets game in which we won, and P. Will had his best game of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time. We really needed him. Coach Donovan said after the game, with a guy being in his third year, it has to come from within. There was no dialogue by me about, hey, be aggressive. There was none of that. He was physical on defense. He got to the glass. He had some drives. He had some tough pull-ups. You felt him on both ends of the floor. Regardless of whether he scored or not, he deflected a couple of passes. He got into some passing lanes. He has to make a decision that this is the kind of player that I want to be, that I know I can be. It's not like we're putting him in a box and saying, hey, it's your job to play defense and pass the ball to people. He has to take advantage of his opportunities. And I thought Tuesday it came within. Okay, sorry, Billy. Yes, that is your job to tell him to play defense and be aggressive. Am I wrong?
Very much so. No, very much so. But let's give him this. At least he did get up for that game versus the Brooklyn Nets, right? I mean, he looked fairly decent, relatively, given how poor he's looked thus far. And I mean, what he put up about 12 points, had 7 boards, had a block out there, a couple steals. So Patrick Williams showed out, right? I mean, he looked fairly decent out there. So I didn't necessarily, Patrick Williams.
Let's take a look, bud.
A really good game.
Let's take a look.
All right, let's see, 2 blocks, 12 points, 7 rebounds. 3 offensive rebounds, shot 100% from the free throw line. I mean,
0 from 3, only 1 assist, -8 plus minus, which means he was the worst player of the entire game.
Hey, listen, man, beggars can't be choosers.
I mean, is that what we are for a number 4 pick?
That's how low the bar is. You know what? I'm over the number 4 pick thing when it comes to Patrick Williams, because honestly, I don't necessarily care for him to live up to that anymore. If we're still judging him based on the number 4 pick, then Patrick Williams should be the next best player on this team. But right. I do not see that in his future. I see Patrick Williams more so being a decent role guy. I think that's his ceiling at this point.
Yeah, there are plenty of bust outs that were picked number 1 overall. So let's put it all in perspective.
Yes.
He's our guy, and he's our number 4 pick after a slurry of number 7 picks. So we kind of thought, we're going to get a guy that's at least, better than Lowry was, or, one of those kinds of guys.
You know what, Marcus,
what do you think of?
Great point. No, I was just going to say, as far as him being the 4th pick after us having a bevy of 7th picks, I think that's what really got us all so excited. and not to mention, his potential or whatnot, but our first time in so long, probably since Derrick Rose at pick 1, that we've had a pick in the top 5. So I think that's what got us all so excited about Patrick Williams. And sad to say,
Did
it's
it get
very
us excited at
underwhelming.
first, though? Because I seem to remember when I saw that draft and they said
Mhm.
Patrick Williams, and I went, who?
Well, yeah, we weren't excited because we didn't know who he was, but when we watched tape on him, I was excited seeing him down there in Florida. I mean, so yeah, I
Okay.
mean, he looked his potential definitely popped off of the screen. The defense, everybody call him the Paul because of his stoicism on the court and all of that. I mean, but let's not even go down that
I
memory
call him
lane.
the
Let's
Gnaw
touch
right
that.
now.
The
I just
no,
call him, the Gnaw. Nah. That's what he is now.
nah, nah.
See, there you go. It's already catching on.
Yeah, man, it's sad that's what we are, but it is what it is. Patrick, just do your thing, be a decent player on the floor. I mean, if you can average 12 points and 5 boards, a block or two, I mean, I'm happy.
Agreed. I need him to be like Horace Grant Jr. That's what I want on him. Get some
Something.
boards, get a couple assists, get some
Play
blocks.
defense.
You're good. You're
Yeah.
good. You're good in my book. All right. Well, P Will, we hope that you're still P Might and then you're P Will once again. Or P
Mike.
did. There's P did already, so we can't do that one. All right, Wise. We got a new segment that
Yes,
we've actually come up with, and let's talk about it first. This is just the beta version. I've got kind of a cooler kind of nominee type thing coming soon here as far as plays and all that. But this is where Wise is actually going to predict his heart, hustle, and muscle guys. And we've got our first segment this week. So let's start the intro. Ooh,
that's fire. That's
slick.
fire right there.
All right, Wise. There's a lot of different nominees this week. We had some really good plays by Vooch. We had obviously DeMar kicking in with his 20,000th point, becoming the 50th in NBA history to do it down in San Antonio. But just real quick, let's who are the winners this week?
Yeah, so DeMar DeRozan getting his 20,000th point for his career, being the 50th player to do it. I mean, hands down, you have to give it to him, number one, because, I mean, just given the fact that DeMar DeRozan has basically come here to Chicago and has shut all of the haters up. So many people thought that he wasn't going to be himself. A lot of people thought he was going to be a shell of himself, and more so drag the Bulls down in terms of the fit with he and Zach LaVine, and he's come here and has been the complete opposite. Like, he's the best player on this team, like clearly the best player on this team.
Can I interject in that moment?
Yeah.
Like, we've seen so many people come here that we thought was going to be the man. We thought it with D Wade. We thought it with Jabari Parker. We thought it with Otto Porter Jr. We thought it with all these $20 million guys that didn't pan out to be anything. So you're right.
Definitely disappointed. Yeah, exactly. So you hands down DeMar DeRozan. But you got to mention Zach LaVine, the way that he's looked coming off of this injury. I mean, he has not really lost a step. He's been putting up 25 plus point games pretty much since he's come back, outside of that game versus Cleveland. But you got to take your hat off to him for the way that he played last night versus the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, that game really looked shaky early on. Even in the third quarter, the Bulls were down 10. And I mean, he just came in and sealed the deal for us in the fourth quarter when it really mattered. He hit 3 of his 5 3-point shots within 6 minutes left in regulation. Yeah. So that really just helped the team pull away from the Brooklyn Nets. And that was absolutely amazing. Zach woke up yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got two winners this week. Who's the other one?
I got to give it to Ayo Dosunmu.
Ooh.
The Bulls definitely feel his presence when he isn't there. I looked at that Philly game and just how, the offense was pretty stagnant and the shooting wasn't great either. And I mean, I feel like the perimeter defense, even, not to say that he's our best defender, but I feel like with Zoe out, he's probably our second best perimeter defender behind Alex Caruso. And the Bulls definitely needed his ball movement. They needed his shooting, which is now a new attribute of his, and just his leadership as well. I feel a lot of leadership coming from the second-year guard as well. And overall, he's just been balling. You talk about him yesterday in Brooklyn as well. He put up, 17 points, shot 63% from the field on 7-11, had 3 steals and 4 assists. So Ayo Dosunmu was balling. Last guy, though, honorable mention, I got to give it to your guy, the vet, Goran Dragic. He's a three-point shooter, man. He's a three-point shooter. He was 4 for 6 yesterday in Brooklyn, and he definitely helped keep the Bulls in that game. So, yeah, I got to give it to 4 guys, 4 wise guys. They all ball.
Oh, well, that's not what you told me today. I didn't have that animation ready.
Yeah, I know. But I was going over a little bit of tape, and I saw what Dragic did. Your point, just bringing up DeMar DeRozan and the 20,000 point. That was, yeah.
Okay, well, in this case, Ayo and Zach, take your ball, boys. All right, that little bromance went on a little too long on that video. But anyway. I love that picture. Man. Can I see that one more time? Come on, one more time. Okay, I come on. That took me like 20 minutes to render
that. That on purpose.
I know. Folks at home watching, if you don't know this by now, my job every week is to make Wise crack up. Okay, it's my secret mission to make him break every single show. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on now. So now, congratulations to Zach, Ayo, Dragic, and DeMar. So congratulations, guys. All right. Let's see. Let's go over our predictions that we had. We had the 76ers game Saturday. I predicted a win. It was an actual loss. You predicted a loss. So you're up 1 on the season with that one. And then yesterday's game, the Bulls at the New Jersey Nets, I predicted a loss. It was an actual win. You predicted a win. So now you're up 2 already on me. Already this year. Not liking that. Not liking that. I got to make up some ground. So we've got today's game coming up just in a few minutes. Hornets versus Bulls. Zach and Ayo will play in this game, but Drummond and White are out. We did predict wins on this. You still sticking with that win? You can redo it if you want.
I'm gonna stick with the W. I believe that with our stars, I think that there'll be enough to pull it out versus the Hornets.
Cool. And then we got Friday, the 4th, Bulls at Celtics. I originally picked a loss. I'm changing my position to a dub.
Really?
I think we got them.
You do? Yeah, I'm keeping it at a nail. I'm going to keep my L.
Good.
Yeah.
This is where I break. This is where I'm going to get some ground on you, my man. This is where it's happening right here. All right. Then Sunday and Monday. So. This is if we're going to play back-to-backs, this is how I prefer playing back-to-backs. Sunday is the Bulls in Toronto. Monday is Toronto in Chicago. It's for back-to-back games. So we get to play the same team twice, which means they get to study us too. So keep that in mind.
Exactly. Who you got?
What you got? You're gonna put me on it. I'm saying a dub for both.
Dub for both. Ooh.
That's Drummond will be back Drummond's gonna be back by Sunday, and he's itching. He wants a piece of this.
I'm gonna stick with simplicity and say 1-1. The Bulls take it at home and they lose away.
Okay. All right. This is a good spot for me to gain a couple pieces on you here. All right. Nice. I like that prediction. Very good. And then I do have one clip. Here is talking about tonight's game and Zach from Billy Donovan.
Zach is in. like I said, I think the more and more information they gather, as more and more time goes by, it's helpful. Certainly, Zach plays a role in that with the doctors, with our medical staff, and you evaluate him after the game. Certainly, flying a lot of times is not the best thing, but then you check in with him, and they see him, and they evaluate him, they talk to him, and they look at what his loads were prior to Brooklyn, and then they'll look at the schedule going forward, and make decisions from there. So I think medical staff, Zach, felt like this was a good opportunity for him to go tonight.
Okay. Well, there you go.
What do you think about that, Zach?
I think this is his first back-to-back game, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to rock.
Yeah. I don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily too happy about it, just because I don't know. I don't want them to push him up too much. You know what I'm saying? Zach, a lot of times down the further end of the season, he gets banged up quite a bit. So I don't know. I just more would rather them take a slower approach. But I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I would think that they should, DeMar and Vooch and Ayo, all of the others, they should be able to handle the Hornets without Zach. I'd rather him play against the harder teams, but that's it.
I'd rather see him work that pain and that knee out a little bit. Get a little in-game rehab.
I got you.
All that. Russ C., we see you, buddy. Thank you so much. We appreciate your comment there live and for tuning in, and everybody else that tunes in everywhere we are. And speaking of everywhere we are, you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/Bulls Podcast. At Bulls Podcast is where we are on social, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Hopefully you guys have been seeing all the things that we've been posting and digging that. Please subscribe to the show if you're not already. We don't really ask that too much, but I'd love to get us up to 1,000 quickly, because that enables Wise and us to do a lot more things with the show. So please share the Bulls Podcast with everybody that you know that's a Bulls fan. We got a lot more coming here. My house is slowly getting put back together, even though the ceiling still got screws and patches and saw cuts and everything else in it. But put the studio back together. I got a mic stand. Well, yeah, check this out, Wise. Look at this. I got it ready to go.
Yes, sir.
In the box. We're ready to go, people. It's almost here. Almost time. Wise, where can everybody find you, my man?
You can get up with me on YouTube. Just type in Wise Black, WYSE, and also catch up with me on social, Radical_Creator. That's Twitter and Instagram. And also, guys, hey, like if y'all want to see us do something, or if y'all want us to talk about different topics, just let us know. We're always open for more ideas. But thank you guys for listening.
Indeed. And we're going to do a video call-in show. I think, Wise, what might be fun is to do it at a halftime. Just like a 10-minute, like, what do you guys think?
I dig it.
I dig kind of a thing.
Yes.
Twitter Spaces is always a possibility, too.
Yeah.
Maybe even during a game, something like that. And maybe even we could hook the Spaces up into this somehow and do it live. I don't know. We'll figure it out, people. We want to do stuff that nobody's doing. And next week, I actually have a segment where I'm going to show Bulls fan art, and nobody's been doing that. So that's to come. All right, folks. Until next time, go Bulls.
Go Bulls.